Welcome to my channel, and I'm back with you once again with another video of Microsoft Flight Simulator 24. And here I am with the Airbus A400, which is a military cargo airplane. And as a child, I was always fascinated by these planes, the size of them, and plus the ruggedness these planes have. So finally, this plane is here. I'm using the Aviator version of the Microsoft Flight Simulator 24, and it's with the Aviator version. And I will be doing a short flight today from Islamabad to Karachi. It's a 2 hours and 10 minutes flight. If you look at this plane, it's really amazing. And I've been almost doing flights every day with this plane since the launch of the Microsoft Flight Simulator. But today I've got the time to make the video. The details of the plane are really good. And one more interesting thing is the cargo bay for this plane. Although this line is not really clear, but still it opens. When I will start this plane, I will show it to you. And the title of this video, I've kept it simple for all of you, that if you can fly Airbus A320, then you can also fly this plane, because it's really easy and it's really simple. Just look at the propellers, and that's nice. So let's remove the chocks and get inside the cockpit. The cockpit is really nice, and here I am. It's an early morning flight, and it's just like the Airbus. If you have flown Airbus A380, then it will be more easy for you. And just look at all the details and everything. So let's start this plane, and we have the battery. So let's turn on the batteries. The external power is already available, so I can just connect the external power. Now you have the electronic flight bag in this plane, and this electronic flight bag is just like the one that you get with the Airbus A320neo. By any means, you can get the flight plan from the sim brief. So I've already made a flight plan. I will be going from Islamabad to Karachi. Now this is the operational flight plan, just like the one that you get for the Airbus A320 and other planes. Then you have ground services. So for the ground services, you can open the door, and if I just go out, I will show it to you. The door is now open. Really nice. And then in order to open the main cargo, the cargo bay at the back, you have this control. Let me just go back and show it to you. You will see this blue hydraulic pump, electric pump. Just turn it on and just reset the view, and let's open the main cargo, and let's go out. And now this is open. So this is something really good about this plane. Now let's get the iris alignment. I've actually set it to instant. In the options, you can see that the iris align time, I've set it to instant. You can connect your account with the sim brief by inserting the account brief ID over here. And then you have got the rest of the settings. Throttle settings, I will not just go through the throttle settings. I'm using the TCA Thrustmaster controller for the Airbus A320. So I will be using that controller. I will not be using the throttle for this flight. Now it's time to get the fuel and the payload. So let's get it from the sim brief and apply the payload. That's it. Now it's time to configure the MCDU. And it's a big screen, just like the one that you get for the Airbus A380. It's really nice and simple. And you have the controls over here for the flight plan, for the directory, for the nav aids, and plus for the performance and everything. And plus this screen is also touchscreen. You can get the flight initialization from here. So just if you press init request, you'll get the flight plan. The flight level will be 320, and the cruising temperature is also coming at cruising altitude 47 degrees centigrade negative. And then you can get the wind information, which is also there. Let's clear this info and go back. Now iris, it's already done. You have the information for IRS 1, 2 and 3. Just go back, and for the departure. Now for the departure, it will be runway 28 right, and the SID will be 1K. I think this is the one exactly. And there are no transitions, so I can just insert temporary, and that's it. I can get rid of this discontinuity by clicking it, and then I can just scroll down and just go to OPKC. And for the arrival, runway will be 25 left. Approach is ILS Y25 left, and via I will select NH1C. This one, and no via. Insert temporary. Now I can look at the flight plan. So just like the way you do it in Airbus A320, you can just scroll through this flight plan. You can change the zoom by moving this knob, the smaller one, and that's it. So everything is now there, and that's it. Now it's time to turn on this plane. It's really simple. It's really easy. So you have these switches for the beacon. But before this, let's turn on the fuel pumps. These are the controls for the fuel pumps. And that's it. Now let's turn on the beacon. And then you have the nav lights. You have the emergency exit lights. Just set them to arm and seat belts to auto. That's it. This is actually the light for the probe. You can see the probe at the front of this plane. So this control is actually for this probe. If you want to do fueling in the night, then it's required. Otherwise, it's not required. Now let's turn on the APU. And let's start it. So another best thing about this plane is the checklist. If you look at the pedestal, you will see this option, normal. If I click this, I will get this checklist. So I can go through this before start checklist. If I press this tick sign, I can go through it. Cockpit preparation complete, and then gears and pins removed, fuel quantity check, takeoff data. Now we have to set the takeoff data. For that, simply go to performance. But before this, fuel and load, yes. You have to enter the zero fuel weight and the zero fuel weight center of gravity. So zero fuel weight for this plane is 107.7. So 107.7. And the zero fuel weight center of gravity, it is 29.3. Let's enter 29.3. And the block fuel is 13 tons, which is, I can set 13.1 for this flight. And that's it. Now I can go to this option, performance, and for the performance, we have to actually use the takeoff performance tool for SimBrief, because you cannot do it from here. So the V1 will be 130. Oops. Just click it over here, 130. Let's do it again. And VR is also 130. And V2 is 135. Actually, I'm used to the 320 MCDU, that's fine. I'm doing like this. You have got different flap speeds at which you can retract the flaps. And plus, there is no takeoff shift. I will be using the full runway. And as I'm not using the flex to temp, that's why I will be just going with toga for the first for the full thrust. And the center of gravity is 30.5. For gross weight, it's 30.5. And 1.5 is the trim settings for the pitch. Okay, great. So now this takeoff data is done, altitude reference. Let's press comma in order to get the barometric pressure. Actually, I'm using clear skies, so that's why it's 1013. Otherwise, I would have gotten different settings. And seatbelt signs are on, iris is checked, and beacon both are set. Let's also set it to bright. So beacon lights are also on. That's it, and checklist complete. I can press normal again and after start. So right now, let's turn on the APU bleed. And as the APU is now available, let me just check if we have the APU. So you can see APU is available. With this, I can disconnect the external power and go to the ground services. And let's close the doors, toggle the GPU and toggle the chocks. Don't forget to do that, because then the plane will not move. So everything is good. Looking so nice. I really love this plane. Okay, so I can't wait to fly it. I've been doing a few flights and it has been really a treat. Now that's it. Now what I can do is this. I can start the plane. Everything looks good. Now this is the ignition control switch. Let's start it to ignition start. Move it to ignition start. And let's start the propeller 1. And now you can see propeller 1 is moving. Great. Let's do it for 2 as well. This guy should be moving away from these propellers. And with this, just to save time, I can just do it for 3 and 4 as well. Actually, the ground staff doesn't go. Great. So now what I can do is this. I can just turn on the lights. Let's look at the lights. Flying this plane is fun. Now there is one more thing in the controller's settings I just want to show you. Now for the throttle, for the side stick, I'm actually using this. Actually, it's supposed to be 400, but it's a typo 4200. So just ignore this. If I just go to the settings, and if I show you steer, let's look for this option steer. Now there are 2 buttons over here. These 2 buttons, I've actually set them for decreased steering and increased steering. Because let me see if I can turn it right now. Yeah, you actually need it for sharp turns. Because I have the controller for this tiller on the rudder. You can see there's very little movement. So that's why you have to basically set these 2 buttons or any other button on the controller that you have for this steer. Now let's go with the checklist after start, and I can just bring back the flight plan, and let's go through the checklist. So doors are closed, ECAM status normal, trim. Okay. So let's get the flight control, and it's set 2.1. It's 2.1. That's it. And let's do the flight control test. So elevator is working, aileron's working, and plus the rudder is also working. Let's go out and see. Beautiful. Looks nice. And this is the elevator. Great. You can see the details of this plane are really good. So this is there, and I can just like check, and that's it. Now another checklist is the one before takeoff. So I will just do it before the takeoff. Now ground spoilers, you can see this button. This is actually for the ground spoilers, and set the flaps. So flaps are required down by position 1. And auto brake to RTO, and this is the one, and that's it. You have this takeoff config test, and this is normal. Now I can release the parking brakes. Oops. From here, from the controller, and let's take this plane towards the runway. Let's give some throttle. Oh, one thing. I always forget that. For these engine switches, you have to actually move them forward to run position, and then the plane will move forward. Otherwise, the plane will not move forward. So I can reduce the thrust, and let's turn. I think. Anyhow, it is like this. Okay. So the runway 28 is on the other side, is on the left hand side. So let's get back in the plane, and let's move it. I can turn off the APU, as the APU is not required. And let's turn on the weather radar, and the TCAS. Oops. Actually, you have to be good at it. I've been taxing a lot, so I've been practicing, because this increase and decrease steering has a very huge impact. And you don't know when the nose wheel is in the middle, so you really have to practice that. Cruising altitude will be 32,000 feet. If I press this option nav, I can just get the constraints on the screen. There is another thing, another view, which can show me my vertical path. I can just move this knob, the bigger one, and I can get that. Now I'm holding short of runway 28 right, and let's go through the checklist before the takeoff and make sure that everything is good. So before the takeoff, flight instruments check, flight control check, briefing done, and everything is now complete. That's it. And that's it. So I have actually gone through everything. Packs 1 and 2 are on. Now the next checklist is after the takeoff. Great. Ground spoilers are out. So I can now release the parking brakes and turn on the strobe to bright. Let's look at this plane from outside. Wow. Looks amazing. So let's release the parking brakes, and let's take this plane to the runway. You also have the heads-up display. Actually, I'm using these buttons to control. Yeah, now it's in the center. You really have to practice this. Okay, so now the plane is going straight, so during the takeoff, the plane will not go left and right. Okay, now it's time to give full throttle. And let's take this plane up in the air. And amazingly, for a propeller plane, the cabin is really quiet. Wow, you can actually feel the power. And you should give this plane a try whenever you can. So, gears up. Let's turn on the autopilot, and that's it. So the takeoff was really smooth, as you can see. Looks amazing. You have to move the throttle to this position, and then this alert will also go. So this plane actually behaves totally like the one that you've been flying, which is Airbus A320. So initially, when I just looked at this plane, I thought it's a really complex one, but eventually, when I just tried it, I was able to fly it and do some flights with it. There were a few tricks that I just had to learn regarding this cargo door. It's closed. Am I right? Yeah, I thought maybe it's open. We can turn off this thing, the blue hydraulic pump, and that's it. Almost 24 hours back, there was an update by NVIDIA, and now the graphics are really good, getting some nice smooth frame per second. Now you can see I'm actually using ultra settings, and it's working really nice. Now the plane is near top of descent, so let's prepare for the descent. Let's go to the MCDU, and it's also asking me to check for the destination data. So let's clear this information, and let's go to performance, and over here you will see approach. Now magnitude and wind, let's get this information from here. And for Karachi, it's no wind information for Karachi. Anyhow, I'll just type in 0000 if it's not there. That's it. And the outside temperature is 16 degrees. So let's enter 16. And as I'm flying in clear conditions, so that's why the QNH will be 1013. No, cancel. It's actually asking me to enter the air. Okay. 1013. That's it. And let's press enter. Now the minimums, let's get the charts for Karachi. And it's 320 for Barrow. That's it. So that's how you actually enter the information for the approach. And then you also have the information for the flaps, that at what speeds you can extend the flaps. And that's it. So let's keep this page over here. As soon as I'm below 10,000 feet, I will activate the approach. Now, in order to intercept this glide slope, I should be at 2,000. So this is my target altitude. I will set the target altitude to 2000. I can also change the units from 1000 to 50. Now the change is in 50s. You can also do this. Now that's it. So let's wait for this top of descent. How far it is? 15 knots, nautical miles. So now let's start the descent. Just bring the cursor over here. As soon as you see the up arrow, just press this button and let's descend in the manage mode. Now you can see the vertical path is coming. This is something really good I like about this plane. It's also available in the Airbus A380, and I think in the Airbus A350 this is also there. Plus the Boeing 737 also has this, which tells you your vertical path. Now also I will look at the nav aids for the ILS frequency, and let's cross check. The ILS for Karachi is 109.7, and IQA, it's the identifier which is there. Course is 252. Can I correct it? 254. Just correct this. That's it. And the VR is KC 112.1. 112.1. And maybe I can just enter the identifier, KC. Let's try it. Yeah, now it has started to pick. And the course is 254. So just like the Airbus A320, instead of entering the frequency, you just put the identifier and it will just get the frequency. Even for the VR2, let's get KC over here, enter, and 254. That's it. Now the plane is near this deacceleration point. Over here the speed will reduce. I have seen this plane in the MSFS 2020, and the speed brake lever is over here. But in this plane, I cannot find the speed brake lever. So that's why I use my controller for that. You can see it's not there. So I will use my controller because the speed brakes are configured on this controller that I'm using. So your vertical deviation is also there, and plane is following the vertical path. So it's good. It is actually a circle. Yeah, let's delete this Muckly. I don't need it. Yeah, otherwise the plane will go in circles. Now there's a discontinuity, I can delete it as well. So you can see the modifying the flight plan is also really good. You can just like perform an hold over here, and then you can just like get a new airway. Or you can set it as an arrival. Obviously, this point is not an arrival, and you can change the constraints if you want for the speed and for the altitude. So there are many things that you can do because it's a touch screen. So that's why you can interact with it. Speed limit exceeded. I can get the speed brakes. Now you can see the speed brakes are in action. If you see this, let's go out. You can see the speed brakes are there. Now the plane was higher than the descent profile because it bulky, it was performing this circle thing. So that's why it's there. Now you can see we have a very high vertical speed. So let's keep it like this. Till this point the plane will be at the given altitude. I can activate LS by pressing this button. You can see the ILS is there. Let's set the barometric pressure. Let's press comma to get the one that is there, 1013 standard. Now I can deactivate the speed brakes. I can now set the auto brakes to medium for the landing and arm the ground spoilers. So I will be using this key F to basically bring the throttle to the idle position and then to the reverse thrust. I've not configured it on my throttle for the TCA. So now you can see this diamond is here, so it means we will be able to follow the glide slope. Now going for the final approach. I can activate approach right now. You can see this button approach. So you can just activate approach. And now the plane will automatically follow this descent. Now what I can do is this. I had to actually activate. Let me just go to the initialization and let's go to performance and activate approach. Confirm. Now the speed will reduce automatically. Now the flap speeds are coming. Different speeds and different flap settings. 213 is the green dot speed. Below this I can extend the flaps. F1 at 177 knots. So the runway is 8.2 nautical miles away. Now I can start extending the flaps and the speed will reduce further. Now you can see F1, F2 is coming, different flap settings, different speeds. The approach speed is 139 knots. You can see this indicator over here. Now I can also lower the gap gears and lower the gap. That was a good one. Okay. And that's it. Full flaps. I can ignore this. I can turn off the autopilot, press this button, and now I can just like fly this plane. Auto throttle is active. I can keep one hand on F. So right after, ooh,
1,000.
it's getting difficult to control it. Let's pitch up a bit. And now I can just very sensitive of controls. Now I have it under control.
300. 100 above. 200. Minimum. 40, 30, 20, 10,
And now you can see the reverse thrust is active. And below 80 knots. So now thrust lever is in the ground idle position, and the braking is there. And I can apply brakes to activate the auto brakes. So that's how you land this plane. I hope this was a useful video for you, and now you will be able to fly it. I will be actually doing a complete tutorial for the beginners as well. If you want to learn how to fly this plane, I will just take you through all the basics of flying. And if you've got any questions, you can ask me in the comment section, or if you want to add anything to this video, the comment section is there for you. Thank you very much for watching this video. Have a nice day. Hope to see you soon.